The 100th floor was now in front of him. God Jinwoo was ready to finish it. He was the #1 player in Battle of Summoners. It was old, brutal, and nearly forgotten. Only veteran players still remained. Inside the game, he was a legend. Players praised his records and impossible clears. Some could not believe how fast he was. Others joked it was better to serve him. But real life was another story. He had spent 10 years on games. He never even went to college. He still had no decent job. His parents said nothing, yet he knew. So this would be his last run. He would clear it and quit. He wanted to end God Jinwoo well. Messages kept popping up during the fight. Some still asked about the 99th floor. He had cleared that long ago. He ignored them and opened his summon window. Then he used White Whale, his ultimate skill. The battlefield exploded with light and force. Everyone watched in awe. One viewer noticed the timing. It would be exactly 10 years. Still, he kept pushing forward. Then the chat mentioned an announcement. Clear the 100th floor, and a new world opens. Some dismissed it as a joke. They doubted anyone would ever clear this floor. The dragon's fire came straight at him. He answered with Blue Dragon. Water and fire ripped through the battlefield. The viewers could only react in shock. Then they joked about something absurd. What if reality became the summoner's world? Then the final blast swallowed the battlefield. A message flashed across his phone. He had cleared the 100th floor. He threw his hands up and screamed. At last, he had done it. People on the street stared at him. He did not care at all. After 10 years, he finally won. Now he could quit the game. He even wanted to brag first. Then the sky suddenly changed. A giant game screen appeared above the city. It announced the 100th floor was cleared. Then another message appeared. The beta test was over. Red summoning scrolls began falling everywhere. People picked them up in confusion. A command appeared in the sky. It told everyone to tear the scrolls. Some thought it was just an event. He knew something was wrong. He shouted for them to stop, but he was already too late. The torn scroll exploded open. A new world was being created. Monsters started pouring into the city. The joke from before became real. The whole street fell into chaos. In that panic, a car hit him. He crashed onto the road. As he faded out, he cursed the game. His broken phone still glowed beside him. A new world was being created. When he opened his eyes again, 3 years had already passed. His mother called for a doctor. He was finally awake. What he saw shocked him. The world had truly changed. His father's pebble golem stood in the room. So it was never a dream. Now, even simple work uses summons. A news report filled in the rest. Korea was still struggling in the player league. The world was searching for God Jinwoo. Even the top rankers were waiting for him. Then Jinwoo finally understood. God Jinwoo was him. Then he noticed one more familiar name. Rachel was exactly who he remembered. She was one of the 5 emperors. That confirmed it even more. The game's world was truly real now. Then a blue window appeared before him. It asked if he wanted the tutorial. His parents told him to rest first. But Jinwoo shook his head. He said his body felt fine. He needed to adapt as fast as possible. He still had nothing in this new world. And he still lacked many answers. But one thing gave him confidence. This game was his field. When it came to the Battle of Summoners, he knew he could climb again. He believed he could reach the top. After that, Jinwoo was finally discharged. He returned home and started researching the world. He wanted to understand what had changed. Every article asked the same question. Where was Korea's god Jinwoo? Battle of Summoners was no longer just a game. Player battles had become real. Raids had become real. Dungeons had become real. Even the Tower of Trials became real. 3 years had passed since the accident. And people had already adapted. Living with summons now seemed normal. Still, Jinwoo stayed confident. He believed skill still mattered most, and he trusted his own abilities. So he decided to move forward. He accepted the tutorial. The system responded right away. The tutorial had started. Soon, Jinwoo arrived at a deserted place. That was exactly what he expected. There was no one around. He came outside for a reason. He still did not know what might appear. Then the system gave him a reward. 2 low-grade summoning scrolls. It also showed a warning. They were meant to be used outside. Holding the red scroll, everything felt real. But Jinwoo was still uneasy. Even for him, the first summon mattered. A bad start could ruin everything. And this game loved terrible luck. Low-grade scrolls had awful pull rates. F rank had 94%. E rank had 5%. D rank had only 1%. That meant useful summons were very rare. Jinwoo lowered his expectations. He would gladly take even an E rank. A D rank would already be amazing. Still, he prayed for something useful. Then he tore the scroll open. The system confirmed its use. For a moment, nothing happened. Jinwoo could only stare at it. Then one thought crossed his mind. How did summons even come out? The answer came immediately. Blue energy burst from the torn scroll. Lightning exploded into the air. And Jinwoo jumped back in shock. Then the result finally appeared. Golden light gathered around the torn scroll. A new system message appeared. Baek Jinwoo had obtained a summon. It was a wind fairy. And its rank was EX. The tiny fairy simply yawned. Jinwoo froze immediately. An EX rank summon existed? The little fairy slowly woke up. Then she suddenly panicked. She looked straight at Jinwoo. And she actually spoke. That alone shocked him. But then Jinwoo looked closer. He asked one careful question. Was she Ramba by any chance? The fairy denied it at first. She said she was a wind fairy. Then she suddenly stopped. Only one person had called her that. God Jinwoo. Her face turned red instantly. She asked if he was really God Jinwoo. A second later, she flew at him crying. She clung to his face in excitement. She said she had missed him badly. That was when Jinwoo remembered her. Back then, she was called E rank. But her hidden value was absurd. Raised properly, she gave amazing results. Her specialty was attack speed support. He had used her during his beginner days. That was why he named her Ramba. But something still felt wrong. He remembered her being removed early on. A big patch had wiped her out. That had made him furious back then. So why was she here now? Jinwoo quickly checked her information. The answer was even stranger. Her rank was listed as EX. But it also said isolated. She was isolated for balance-breaking effects. Her skill boosted one summon's attack speed. Each staff swing added 3%. Then Ramba finally explained herself. She said she was dragged away suddenly. After that, she was trapped somewhere strange. She could not leave at all. Now she begged him not to part again. Jinwoo had to stop her first. Jinwoo quickly asked who trapped her, but Ramba suddenly hesitated. Then she grabbed her head in pain. She said it hurt badly, and she could not remember clearly. Someone had placed a restriction on her. After calming down, she apologized. She said she could not explain much. She and others had been isolated. No matter how hard players tried, they could never be summoned out. That made Jinwoo stop. He asked about the others. Ramba said there were more like her. They were kept in separate places, so she never saw them directly. Still, she guessed there were around 10. That number hit Jinwoo immediately. He remembered 10 vanished summons. Those summons were labeled as bugged. Then they disappeared from the game. Now his suspicion grew stronger. Maybe those missing summons were all EX rank. Maybe they were all isolated too. Ramba then revealed one more clue. When he tears a summoning scroll, they get a chance to answer. And only his torn scrolls seemed to work. That made Jinwoo think again. Maybe this was his reward for clearing the final floor. At first, he believed something huge. Maybe every low-grade scroll he used would now pull an EX rank summon. So he tore the second scroll. Blue light burst out again. For a moment, he expected another miracle. But this time, the result was different. A hairy gorilla appeared, and it was only F rank. That answer ruined his first theory. Not every pull would become EX rank. The special summons were still random. Jinwoo cursed the game's awful rates again. Then he changed his thinking. He simply needed more scrolls. The more he pulled, the better his chances became. If he could gather all the EX ranks, he might become even stronger than before. After that, he called Ramba over. She answered him happily, but Jinwoo corrected her at once. He told her to stop saying God Jinu. From now on, she should call him Jinwoo, because that old name had already spread worldwide. Jinwoo stayed cautious the whole time. His old knowledge was still valuable, but 3 lost years worried him. That gap could still hurt him. And if people learned the truth, things would get even worse. If the world discovered his EX ranks, he could become a target. Then something suddenly changed. A new reaction spread through the air. Jinwoo, Ramba, and the gorilla all froze. Even the gorilla shouted in surprise. The system moved to the next step. A beginner dungeon was created instantly. Jinwoo could only stare at it. He had cleared countless dungeons before. But this was different now. This was not just a game anymore. It was real. So he forced himself to stay calm. He admitted he was scared. Still, he would not fight directly. And this was only a tutorial. The system called his name again. Then it gave one clear order. Please enter. Jinwoo looked at the portal. He knew what he had to do. He had to adapt to this new reality. The moment he stepped inside, everything changed at once. He found himself inside a dark cave. Jinwoo realized the dungeon had started. The place felt cold and unsettling. Then the system confirmed it. He had entered the beginner dungeon. Jinwoo knew it was finally beginning. A new rule appeared before him. Dungeons had to be cleared with summons, and one team could hold 5 summons. Then the system asked him something. Would he assign his 2 summons to the team? Normally, filling all 5 slots was safer. But Jinwoo thought differently. With the right strategy, 2 summons could still be enough. He had tested this kind of setup endlessly. The plan was already in his head, so he chose yes without hesitation. At once, the fairy and gorilla were assigned. Jinwoo started checking the situation. He tried to predict the first monster. Then a growl echoed through the cave. A warning window appeared immediately. A starving gray wolf was nearby. The mission was simple. Defeat the wolf, then escape the cave. Jinwoo stared forward in silence. It was only an F-rank gray wolf. A golden shield formed around Jinwoo at once. The system protected the player perfectly. But this was no longer just a game. A red warning flashed before his eyes. Without that shield, one hit meant death. If he failed here, he would really die. The wolf crept closer with killing intent. Jinwoo ordered Harry to attack first. Harry rushed in without hesitation. But the wolf reacted much faster. Jinwoo had already expected that. He called Ramba for support. Ramba spun her staff with full force. A green wind wrapped around Harry. His speed rose sharply in an instant. Harry charged again with boosted power. Jinwoo nodded. That was exactly the plan. Still, the real wolf looked much bigger. He stayed careful and watched for surprises. Then the wolf slammed Harry to the ground. Jinwoo immediately called for Ramba again. She pushed her buff as hard as possible. Harry's fist struck the wolf cleanly. The beast was blown back across the cave. Ramba prepared one final attack. With her support, Harry launched upward. Then he crashed down with a heavy combo. The fight finally swung in their favor. The dust finally began to settle. Jinwoo and Ramba looked ahead in silence. The gray wolf was defeated. Harry roared and pounded his chest. Ramba cheered that they had won. A clear message appeared before Jinwoo. The dungeon was finally cleared. He received 2 low-grade rune of strength. Jinwoo let out a long breath. He had survived. Then the scene shifted to the city. A cheerful voice said goodbye. Elsewhere, Ajin counted her cash happily. She had earned 200,000 won today. She was Baek Ajin, Jinwoo's younger sister. 3 years ago, the world changed. She got a new job, too. She became a rune farming player. She entered lower-level dungeons for profit. Then she sold runes to promising players. After Jinwoo's accident, their family struggled badly. So Ajin chose to become a player. One day, she found an intermediate summoning scroll. Its drop rate was only 1%. From it, she gained a C-rank summon. Thanks to that shadow elf, she could earn money steadily. As she packed her things, her phone suddenly rang. It was a call from Jinwoo. Ajin quickly answered the call. She asked if he was discharged. Jinwoo said he was already out. Then he asked about her rune hawking. His sister snapped at the phrase rune hawker. So Jinwoo quickly corrected himself. Then he asked about the synthesis shop. She said it was inside the player zone. When the towers appeared, players needed a place for summon business. That was how the player zone was created. Dungeons and support facilities gathered around the towers. In Korea, only 2 trial towers existed. So the player zone existed only there. Jinwoo said that made sense. Then she asked about his summons. He casually answered, E and F. Her eyes lit up at once. An E rank had only a 5% chance. Jinwoo played along and called himself lucky. But inside he knew he was lying. Then he asked for her help. He wanted to learn this new system fast. He even offered her pocket money later. She mocked him for saying that. Jinwoo joked he might become the best player. His sister did not believe him. She said true geniuses always stayed at the top. People like Rachel and Xenos were different. They were chosen ones. Jinwoo only smiled at that. Then he stood up. He told her to show him around. He wanted to see the player zone himself. Night had already fallen over the tower district. As they walked, his sister asked about his summon. Jinwoo answered with a wind fairy. She frowned at the strange name. She had never heard of it before. Then she asked to see it herself. Jinwoo refused right away. She complained that showing it changed nothing. So Jinwoo made a trade. He asked to see her summon first. She smiled and agreed at once. Her confidence made him curious. Then she called out her summon. A shadow elf appeared before them. It was a C-rank summon. Jinwoo only gave a dry reaction. His sister got mad immediately. She said C-rank and above was noble tier. Jinwoo pretended to understand, but inside he was not impressed. To him, C-ranks were just synthesis materials. Then he greeted the shadow elf. He even asked if shadow elves knew Korean. The elf only stared in silence. His sister looked at him like he was weird. Jinwoo said he was just being polite. He wanted her summon to protect his sister. She scoffed and said summons could not talk. That answer made Jinwoo freeze. He suddenly remembered Ramba speaking before. So one thought hit him hard. Ramba had talked when they first met. His sister looked at him like he was crazy. She said summons were never meant to talk. That made Jinwoo stop and think. Ramba had been a special case. Then his sister asked to see his summon. Jinwoo turned away and said, "Later." She complained that he broke the deal. But Jinwoo stayed careful and kept moving. He could not reveal too much yet. So he urged her to guide him instead. Grumbling, she ran after him. Soon they entered the player zone. Bright lights filled the whole street. Jinwoo could only stare in shock. It looked nothing like Jamsil World. His sister said the place was rebuilt. No one wanted fun beside that dark tower. Jinwoo thought that sounded backwards. Wouldn't that make it more thrilling? His sister shut that down immediately. Dungeons sat right in the middle here. Who would come play in a place like that? After hearing that, Jinwoo gave in. I guess that is true. Dungeons were scary, but this place still thrilled him. Seeing game locations in real life felt exhilarating. Then he noticed the marketplace nearby. His sister said players traded scrolls and runes there. That scene made Jinwoo feel nostalgic. He remembered opening scrolls and runes with Baekjeon. His sister pointed him toward the pamphlets and help desk. Then she told him to try the academy first. She said he was still a beginner. But Jinwoo calmly refused. He said there was nothing left to learn. He would be leveling here from now on. His sister still looked worried. Jinwoo thanked her for the guide. Then he told her to head back first. He wanted to look around alone. Even after that, she felt something was wrong. Still, she chose to trust him. She warned him not to overdo it. After she left, Jinwoo checked the area. Once it seemed empty, he called for Ramba. The fairy appeared in a burst of light. She almost shouted his name out loud. Jinwoo quickly shushed her. He quickly covered Ramba's mouth and kept her quiet. He warned her not to talk outside anymore. If people noticed her, trouble would follow. From now on, she could only speak in dungeons. Ramba nervously nodded and agreed. Then Jinwoo took a breath and gathered himself. First, he needed money to start clearing dungeons. But his account was almost completely empty. He could only let out a bitter laugh. His situation felt worse than ever. Going back to part-time work would waste time. But asking his parents was never an option. They were already working several jobs to survive. He could not lean on them anymore. Doing that would make him feel ashamed. So he made up his mind. Even if he had to start from nothing, he would still find a way forward. That was what made Gajinu different. He rose as a true free player. The game was brutally pay to win. Baekjeon spent 300 million won. But Jinwoo grew without spending a coin. So reality would not stop him now. He swore he would climb back again. Then his phone suddenly lit up. 500,000 won had been deposited. He froze and checked the sender. It was from his mother. Ajin had told her he was pushing himself. She knew he would never ask for money. So she sent him what she could. Jinwoo was left speechless. He remembered her nursing him the whole time. She had stayed by his hospital bed. She only wanted him healthy again. Jinwoo quietly thanked his mother. Then he made a promise. He would succeed no matter what. He would let his whole family live well. 3 lost years had to be reclaimed. Every minute now was precious. To grow, he needed dungeon materials. To get them, he needed a team first. So he bought 3 low-grade summoning scrolls. An F-rank sludge appeared. An F-rank horned butterfly followed. Then an E-rank poison lizard appeared. Jinwoo stared at the poison lizard in surprise. Getting an E-rank felt like real luck. If Ramba counted as E-rank too, then he had beaten the odds twice. The poison lizard looked useful enough. Its value was not bad at all. The sludge looked awful in comparison. Still, he decided to use it for now. For the moment, this team would work. Harry stood in front with the others. Now the system felt very simple. Pull summons and equip the right runes. Then fight, level up, and keep farming. That was the whole growth cycle. To Jinwoo, that kind of grinding was easy. And if he gathered all 10 EX rank summons, even top players would not matter. Even the 100th floor would be beatable. So he made his next goal clear. He would find every remaining EX rank summon. Jinwoo finally made up his mind. Now only the real challenge remained. First, he needed to find a dungeon. In the game, entering was only 1 tap, but reality was clearly very different. So he searched how dungeon access worked. The answer made him blurt out in shock. Having a summon was not enough. He could not enter a dungeon freely. Dungeon gates appeared randomly across the land. Their danger was judged by the energy released, but only registered players were allowed inside. That rule hit him at the worst time. He could only sit down and sigh. He felt his luck was truly terrible. He had woken up after the law changed. Just then, Ramba tried to cheer him up. Her small comfort eased his heavy mood. "Thanks, Ramba," he said with a smile. Then Jinwoo quietly gathered himself again. That night, his sister suddenly called him. She asked when he was coming home. Their mom also asked about dinner. Jinwoo said he would eat outside. Then he asked about dungeon registration. His sister had completely forgotten that rule. She said the rule was still very new. Too many people had died in dungeons. So the government finally stepped in. Now staff guarded dungeon gates everywhere. Even finding one did not solve anything. There were tests, battles, and registration too. Jinwoo felt the whole process was exhausting. Then he asked why the system was so strict. His sister said greed would ruin society. If everyone chased power for money, the whole social order would crack apart. Then she mentioned another system. Players were ranked every year. The best ones were ranked locally and globally. She even said their country lagged behind. Then she brought up the legendary God Jinwoo. She said he could raise their country's standing. That made Jinwoo turn awkwardly silent. After thanking her, he ended the call. Now with his basic setup ready, he could focus on the next step. At last he decided to call it a night. Morning came before he knew it. His mother was already cooking. His father sat quietly with the newspaper. Then Jinwoo came out with his bag. It was only 6 in the morning. His parents were surprised he was leaving so early. His mother told him to eat first. She even offered him rice balls. But Jinwoo gently refused. Then he stopped and faced them. He apologized for his shortcomings, and he thanked them sincerely. After that, he said goodbye and left. His father awkwardly brushed it off, but his mother still looked worried. His father tried to reassure her. He said players now get safety training. Even so, she only prayed for Jinwoo's safety. This was an era where anyone could become a player, and South Korea suffered many early dungeon deaths. The reason was simple and cruel. Too many people were blinded by greed. They thought they were fantasy heroes. They rushed into dungeons without fear. And many of them died for it. Foreign media studied South Korea's long decline. They said too many gifted gamers died early. That was why the country stayed at the bottom. Even the news kept reporting dungeon deaths. Jinwoo found it tragic and delusional. Still, he knew he was no different. He had chased that game for 10 years. But to him, it still sounded pathetic. Soon, his turn at registration came. He handed over his application. Then he asked how many would qualify. The clerk said only 50 would pass. There were already over 1,000 applicants. Even so, Jinwoo stayed calm. If he failed here, this meant nothing. Elsewhere, the examiners reviewed the applications. They complained that 50 spots were too few. Park Chang-sik wanted a wider selection. Then a sudden explosion tore through the room. Park turned around in shock. A furious man called Park by name. He accused Park of killing his men. Park instantly knew the man was insane. The room was about to become a battlefield. Park answered by calling out his summons. People suddenly panicked at the shocking news. The syndicate and headquarters were involved. Jinwoo was still sitting nearby, checking his phone. Then he sensed something strange behind him. He wondered why it had to happen here. A bad feeling quickly crept in. When he turned around, both sides were already there. The syndicate stood face to face with headquarters. Their summons had filled the whole place. Jinwoo froze at the unbelievable scene. He could only stare in confusion. He truly could not understand this crazy situation. The whole place suddenly fell into chaos. Everyone stared at the two sides in shock. The civilians started to panic. They feared they might die here. Some people recognized Park Chang-sik. They believed he could crush gangsters like this. Jinwoo still looked confused by the situation. Park Chang-sik realized this was serious. He told everyone to summon shields at once. Blue barriers quickly covered the civilians. Jinwoo quietly called Ramba. Then he stopped the ferry from speaking outside. The enemy mocked Park Chang-sik without hesitation. A huge summoned fighter charged in first. Jinwoo stayed back and watched for now. He wanted to see how they fought. Then a flaming summon launched a heavy attack. The whole room shook from the blast. But the enemies still looked confident. Park Chang-sik was already being pushed back. His face tightened as the pressure grew. Jinwoo watched and stayed unimpressed. To him, they were absolute scrubs. But the people around him panicked again. They started to fear Park Chang-sik might lose. The civilians were sure those men would kill anyone. Jinwoo hesitated and tried to stay uninvolved. He feared dying before living a quiet life. But then he stepped toward Park Chang-sik. Park told him to stay back. Jinwoo said the fire turtle's timing was wrong. He pointed at the buffers behind the blood orc. They were casting fire resistance from the rear. Each time they cast, the orc turned red. Park finally understood the enemy's trick. He changed the timing and called the fire turtle again. This time, the attack landed perfectly. Park was shocked that it actually worked. The enemy leader panicked and asked how Jinwoo knew. Their rear support was struck next. A heavy fire barrage followed right after. The enemy side quickly fell into confusion. The leader could only shout for them to wait. The thug finally broke and begged for mercy. He said he would surrender and accept his punishment. But the roots closed in around him. He kept crying and begging to be spared. Park told him to shut up. Then he reminded him what happens to gang members. The next moment, the execution was carried out. The room fell silent for a beat. Then the crowd slowly realized it was over. People started cheering for Park Chang-sik. They praised headquarters for stopping the criminal. Jinwoo stayed quiet in the middle of it all. Even if that man was a criminal, they were cheering over a death. Jinwoo felt the world had changed too much. He knew surviving here would need real resolve. Then Park walked over to him. he thanked Jinwoo for the help earlier. He introduced himself as Park Chang-seok from headquarters. Jinwoo brushed it off like it was nothing. Park said Jinwoo helped capture a terrorist. He even offered him a reward. Then Park asked which guild Jinwoo belonged to. Jinwoo said he was not registered yet. That answer shocked Park. He could not believe Jinwoo was still unregistered. After spotting that buff so quickly, it made no sense. Park asked Jinwoo for his ID. He needed to verify his identity. Jinwoo handed over his resident card. Park thanked him and promised a proper reward. Jinwoo left the rest in Park's hands. But Park made a call right away. He sent Jinwoo's data for a background check. He even said Jinwoo's full name. Meanwhile, Jinwoo walked outside with Ramba. He bought her a cream bread. Her mood changed instantly. One cream bread solved everything for Ramba. Jinwoo found her very simple. Still, his thoughts stayed heavy. He never meant to step in. But without him, everyone there might have died. The world had changed more than he expected. He sat down and let out a breath. Then he made up his mind. He could not delay hunting any longer. First, he needed more summoning scrolls. He had to gather them quickly. Then he could call his next summon. His top targets were clear. The training instructor came first. The Dragon Mage was next. Both were only E rank and D rank, so low-grade scrolls should be enough. Beside him, Ramba rested quietly. Jinwoo stood up at last. He was done waiting around. Now it was time to move. Park was stunned by what he learned. Baek Jinwoo had spent 3 years hospitalized. It all started after a car accident. That finally explained his missing registration. Then the next report hit even harder. Jinwoo applied as soon as he woke up. Park could hardly believe the paperwork. Still, the records were completely real. He told them he would step in himself. To Park, Jinwoo looked like a rare talent. Meanwhile, Jinwoo entered the training hall. He expected a crowd, but not this much. The room was packed with future candidates. Summons filled the seats beside their owners. But Jinwoo only smiled and sat down. To him, becoming a player seemed simple. He trusted his game knowledge completely. A moment later, the training finally began. Jinwoo froze when the examiner stepped onto the stage. It was Park Chang-seok from headquarters. Park then began the written exam training. Later, Park met Jinwoo in private. Jinwoo admitted he never expected Park as examiner. Park laughed and asked how the training went. During class, one lesson caught Jinwoo off guard. Park was teaching an old summon combo. It was a strategy Jinwoo had spread himself. So he only said it wasn't bad. Then Park mentioned the reward from before. But first, he asked a strange question. "Mr. Jinwoo, were you once a gamer?" A gamer meant someone who played Battle of Summoners. About 70% of Korean rankers were gamers. Jinwoo realized his knowledge had given him away, so he admitted that he had played before. When Park asked how long, Jinwoo paused. If he said 10 years, he could be traced. When Jinwoo said he played for about a year, Park's whole face changed. He grabbed Jinwoo in disbelief. A whole year on that dead game shocked him. Most Korean rankers had quit within half a year. So Park quickly apologized for bursting out. Then he offered Jinwoo 2 rewards. The first was immediate player registration. It also came with a headquarters job. The second was a 5 million cash reward. Park clearly expected the first choice. But Jinwoo calmly chose the money. Park froze and asked if he was serious. He warned that registration would take longer. Jinwoo thanked him but declined. He said he could handle registration himself. Jinwoo made his choice clear. He had no plans to join headquarters. He needed more summons, not more delays. Soon he arrived for the practical exam. Harry and Ramba came with him. At the play zone, a staff member greeted him. She confirmed his identity right away. Then she explained the test rules. He only had to clear the daily dungeon. This round used the Tuesday dungeon. It was a time attack challenge. The faster he cleared it, the better. From behind, Park kept watching in silence. He still could not believe Jinwoo refused him. Park started to wonder the same thing. He questioned if he should have offered more. After the explanation ended, the staff stepped aside. Jinwoo moved toward the portal. Then he calmly went in with Harry and Ramba. The dungeon was packed with toxic slimes. The goal was simple: beat the slimes and escape fast. Jinwoo called Ramba at once. He told her to build up stacks. Harry roared as the buffs piled on. The Tuesday dungeon was a maze. Most beginners wasted time getting lost there. But Jinwoo already knew the layout. The slimes were slow anyway, so he told everyone to ignore them. He rushed straight through the maze. For him, finding the path was easy. Soon, a shortcut appeared ahead. Jinwoo thought they were almost through. Then a warning suddenly flashed. A boss monster was appearing. Jinwoo stayed calm and looked ahead. Then the boss revealed itself. It was the King Slime. He told Ramba to shake things up. Ramba boosted Harry without hesitation. Harry charged in like a missile. Then he slammed straight into the Slime King. The King Slime burst apart instantly. Jinwoo was satisfied with the result. Even an F rank could move that fast. Ramba's speed buff was seriously powerful. On a stronger summon, it would be terrifying. A message confirmed the boss was defeated. Then the dungeon clear notice appeared. The run took 5 minutes and 32 seconds. Jinwoo thought that was still a little slow. But then another notice popped up. He had set a new South Korean record. A special achievement was unlocked too. He received 3 high-grade summoning scrolls. Then an extra reward arrived as well. Even Jinwoo looked surprised by that. Outside, the staff noticed the record change. They rushed to the screen in disbelief. The Beginner Tuesday dungeon had a new record, and the name on it was Bake Jinwoo. The staff stared at the new name. None of them knew Bake Jinwoo. He was not even a ranked player, yet he broke the #1 record. The room quickly turned serious. They called an emergency meeting. Everyone agreed Jinwoo was extraordinary. Park was sure he was the real deal. He called Jinwoo a national treasure. He said they had to secure him fast. At least, they could not lose him overseas. Then he ordered Jinwoo's registration at once. Some were shocked by that decision. He had not even been in a player match. But Park had his reasons. Time attacks were ranked by country and worldwide. Korea's top time was 6:41. The world record was 2:25. And Jinwoo had already passed Korea's best. Park asked them if a player match still mattered. He believed real talent deserved special treatment. Outside, Jinwoo looked up at headquarters. He let out a tired breath. He still could not believe that 5 minutes would be a top record in Korea. Then, someone called out to him. Park came running over in full excitement. He shouted that he had wanted to meet Jinwoo. Jinwoo could only stand there, overwhelmed. Park ran up, still out of breath. He praised Jinwoo's time attack record. He could not believe it happened in 1 try. Even the Tuesday maze was hard. Jinwoo only laughed and played it down. To him, it felt completely natural. Then Park handed him something important. It was a player license. Jinwoo had been registered immediately. Park said he had already proven enough. Jinwoo liked the sound of that. But he had one question left. Park wanted to know his secret. He asked how Jinwoo broke the record. Jinwoo paused and looked at the license. If he revealed too much now, everything after that could change. Best case, he gains fame and support. Worst case, he loses everything. So he answered coldly. That question is incredibly rude. Park quickly apologized. He admitted gamer strategies are private matters. He said that knowledge is highly sensitive, but Korea was desperate for real talent. Hearing that, Jinwoo hesitated. At least, Park did not seem cruel. Jinwoo weighed Park's offer in silence. Park also seemed reasonable enough. He seems smart enough. So Jinwoo changed his mind. Maybe the government could be useful. Maybe it could help him grow faster. He called the examiner back. Let's talk somewhere else. Then they moved somewhere more private. Park got straight to the point. He asked Jinwoo for help. Headquarters needed Jinwoo's knowledge. Then Park admitted something else. They had checked Jinwoo's past. They learned he was hospitalized for 3 years. Jinwoo did not like that at all. He asked if they investigated him. Park apologized right away. He said unregistered talents raised suspicion. But Jinwoo set one clear condition. Now that he was registered, there would be no more investigation, and they should never do it again. Park accepted that immediately. He realized Jinwoo was not intimidated. Jinwoo knew exactly what he was worth. Then Jinwoo asked his own question. What would he gain helping the country? Park said his cooperation. Jinwoo looks confused. Park said it was hard to explain. But he held real power at headquarters. Examiners were chosen by public vote. Better results meant more votes. More votes meant a higher position. Jinwoo listened and sized him up. The man felt more like a politician. Park promised every kind of help he could give. But Jinwoo found that answer underwhelming. The reward still felt too vague. And Park could not spend public money freely. So Jinwoo offered a different deal. He asked for 1 month of support. Park froze and asked him to repeat it. Jinwoo said he had just registered. He wanted support while he grew stronger. Only for 1 month. If things went well, they would continue. If not, he would repay the value. Or share information worth the same. Park quickly understood what Jinwoo really wanted. Jinwoo planned to use him for a month. It was bold, but Park accepted. Staying close to Jinwoo could benefit him more. Then Park reached out and sealed the deal. Before leaving, Jinwoo made one thing clear. He wanted his new record kept secret. He said it was for his safety. He did not trust headquarters to protect him. Not after failing to stop one gang. The examiner understood his point. He promised to keep it contained. Still, he warned some rumors could leak. Jinwoo accepted that much. Then he ended the meeting and left. Once outside, he checked his rewards. And the rewards were ridiculous. He got 3 advanced summon tickets and 2 low-grade enhancers. The enhancer barely caught his interest. But the summon tickets were different. They felt like a huge prize. A true first achievement reward. Still, 3 tickets felt too risky. Opening them now was just gambling. So he considered selling them instead. Then he remembered something important. There was a player-only marketplace. A web service for registered players. And most item trades happened there. Jinwoo remembered the counselor's advice. So he opened the player market. Then he checked the ticket prices. And the numbers left him stunned. 1 advanced summon ticket cost 3 million won. That meant 9 million from one short run. Jinwoo could hardly believe it. Then his thoughts turned to his family. His dad. His mom. And Ejin. He promised to ease their money worries. But first, he made a new plan. He would sell the advanced tickets, then buy low-grade summon tickets instead. He already knew 2 broken summons to chase. the training instructor and the Flame Dragon Summoner. Those two were enough to crush B-rank fights. But something still felt strange. Low-grade tickets only cost 5,000 won, even with sellers everywhere, and almost no buyers. Yet the price stayed the same. So Jinwoo made a call. "Hello?" Anjin answered right away. "Oppa, what's up?" He called her for a quick explanation. Ajin said headquarters buys those tickets themselves. They buy them in bulk with tax money. The minimum price stays at 5,000 won. There is also a daily purchase limit, so sellers never bother lowering the price. Ajin also warned that policy might end soon. Headquarters was already flooded with low-grade tickets. Jinwoo thanked her and ended the call. Then he understood the situation right away. If headquarters had tickets piled that high, then they probably had plenty to spare. So he went straight back to the examiner. The man welcomed him warmly again. Jinwoo got right to the point. He asked for low-grade summon tickets. The examiner looked confused for a moment. "Not mid-grade or advanced?" he asked. Jinwoo said, "As many as possible." The examiner fell silent and thought it over. Giving them away clearly was not the problem. Jinwoo said he did not plan to resell them. If the tickets were overflowing, he would simply use them himself. The examiner studied him in silence. He felt Jinwoo was planning something unusual. Still, he finally agreed. But he added one condition. He wanted one useful piece of information first. He was a council member, after all. He could not hand out public goods for free. If he got caught, he would lose the public's trust. So he offered a trade instead. Useful information for low-grade tickets. He needed some protection too. Jinwoo actually liked that better. Good information would earn better treatment. So he accepted the deal. Then he revealed his first secret. There was a system called achievement time cutting. The examiner looked confused. Jinwoo explained the top domestic achievement reward. Each dungeon record paid 3 advanced summon tickets. He had earned that reward once already. His clear time was 6 minutes and 20 seconds. But if another player broke the record, that reward could be earned again. By trading the record 1 second at a time, players could keep earning the reward. That would also raise the nation's strength. The examiner said they had used it before. Most top rankers had already claimed it once, but many others still had not. So Jinwoo said it would not cause trouble. Then he offered his real sample. He would sell the Tuesday dungeon strategy. The examiner lit up immediately. But Jinwoo said it was not his method. It was a method OJ had used. Then Jinwoo said that it could cut clear to 3 minutes. Park could not believe it. Jinwoo stopped him there. Before any details, they needed a price. On top of the low-grade tickets, Jinwoo asked for 50 advanced tickets. The examiner was stunned by the cost. That was 150 million won. Jinwoo called it cheap. The method worked from low to top dungeons. The achievement rewards alone were worth billions. After hearing that, the examiner agreed. If the method proved true, he would pay 150 million immediately. He would also send 10,000 low-grade tickets daily. Jinwoo calmly said they would not regret it. At sunset, Park Chang-seok gathered everyone outside. They wondered why the meeting came so suddenly. He said he had something to test. One man guessed it was no ordinary test. Then he brought up the Tuesday dungeon record. The others had already heard about it. They knew Baek Jinwoo had broken it recently. Park Chang-seok said he found a new strategy. He said it came from overseas. He had tested it with Baek Jinwoo already, and the results were excellent. The group looked stunned by that claim. Then they understood why he wanted silence. Now he finally revealed the real reason. From this moment on, they would start speedrunning the Tuesday dungeon. Then he revealed the key summon. The core summon was a spotted Komodo. The group stared at it in shock. The spotted Komodo looked like a normal B-rank summon. It was about the size of an adult man. People saw it as a sturdy bruiser. But that was only the common view. In real use, it looked disappointing. Its damage and tanking felt mediocre, so most users treated it like trash. But they missed one crucial detail. The spotted Komodo loved eating giant slimes. Inside that dungeon, it became the perfect hunter. Just letting it loose sped up the clear. The results came almost immediately. The Tuesday dungeon record fell again. Then it was broken one more time. They reached the boss room in under 4 minutes. Everyone praised the spotted Komodo. Some even talked about chasing the world record. A few days later, the news spread across the country. People said Park Chang-sek was behind it. Watching the reaction, he finally felt sure. Banguk Jinwoo was worth far more than expected. So he made a new decision. He would build a team around Jinwoo. Then he began choosing the members. Park picked 3 perfect candidates. Then a massive payment hit Jinwoo's account from the headquarters. He and Ramba are shocked. On top of that, he also received a 10,000 low-grade scrolls. Jinwoo decided to do his part. He got ready to start pulling again. The fairy prayed hard for a lucky summon. Then Jinwoo began the endless grind. He tore through scroll after scroll. After 1 hour, he had opened 600. A mountain of useless summons filled the ground. The work left him completely drained. But the key point was different. Because of isolated status, each one was unique. Ramba called it pure luck. Ramba said 10,000 still might fail. Even 100,000 might not be enough. Ramba asked Jinwoo if he knew the summoning system. Then she explained the summoning system. Summons equal only 10% of all players. With 8 billion people, that meant 800 million summons. Even his pulled horned caterpillars probably numbered at hundreds of millions. The fairy finally explained the real problem. Isolated summons existed only one at a time, and Jinwoo alone seemed able to pull EX classes. The numbers made his head spin. There were tens of thousands of summon types. Pulling the lone EX class felt impossible. It sounded worse than winning lotteries twice. But the fairy told him not to panic. Once summoned, a unit disappears from future pulls. It only returns if someone sells it. If all horned caterpillars were already taken, they would never appear again. That still left terrible odds. Jinwoo considered using mid-grade scrolls instead, but he shut the idea down. They were too expensive and too scarce. So Jinwoo chose the only path left. He tore open another scroll, and the fairy prayed beside him. 2 weeks passed, and Jinwoo was exhausted. He had opened 140,000 summoning scrolls. The grind nearly killed him. He even rented a room near the player zone. He stayed there just to fuse summons faster. Still, he could not depend on his parents forever. So he forced himself back up again. He asked Ramba if they should fuse more today. Ramba only begged for cream bread. By evening, they arrived at the fusion center. Like other landmarks, old buildings had changed too. This former hotel was now a fusion center. Jinwoo remembered this place for its buffet. Inside, the lobby was packed with people. He pulled ticket number 125. Ramba warned him to choose carefully this time. Jinwoo agreed and waited for his turn. Soon, number 125 was called. Then the two of them headed inside. Inside the fusion room, Jinwoo started another upgrade. He counted on Ramba once again. Ramba happily cheered him on. The system registered Wind Fairy for fusion. Jinwoo chose her without hesitation. Then several F-rank fire lizards were offered as sacrifices. Light wrapped around Ramba as the fusion began. A moment later, the process was complete. Ramba's level rose to 21. Her intelligence also increased again, but Jinwoo could only sigh. After opening 140,000 summons, Ramba was still only level 21. Ramba asked if she looked stronger. Jinwoo praised her anyway. Still, he knew the road was long. The max level was 100. At this pace, it would take forever. A few days later, Park Chang-seok was in a great mood. He even hummed while working. Seeing that, Byung-jin grew nervous. Park said the talent management team was ready. He had pushed everything for Baek Jinwoo. Then Park asked what Jinwoo was doing now. Byung-jin said Jinwoo was still opening summoning scrolls. He had even picked up more that day. Park was surprised he was still going. Then Byung-jin added one more thing. Jinwoo wanted to buy more low-grade scrolls. He wanted to use the 150 million won. He even asked for a discount below market price. For now, they told him they would review it. Park Chang-seok read the report in silence. Jinwoo was pouring money into dead stock. Low-grade scrolls barely sold at all. That made Park even more curious. He felt sure Jinwoo had found something. So he made a bold decision. Sell the scrolls to Jinwoo half price. Byung-jin was stunned by the order. But Park told him not to worry. He could already see the future. One day, Baek Jinwoo might become Korea's hero. And Park would be remembered for helping him. His approval ratings would soar even higher. For now, he ordered them to stay quiet. Only a few people could know. Meanwhile, Jinwoo kept tearing open more scrolls. He counted them one by one. Ramba was already at her limit. But Jinwoo kept going anyway. Then someone suddenly approached them. A woman introduced herself with a smile. She was Yu-jia from headquarters. Jinwoo awkwardly greeted her back. Yu-jia came because of his request. Then she gave him unexpected good news. Because of Jinwoo's recent contributions, they would make one special exception. He could buy the scrolls at half price. Yu-jia had even better news. Her team would add another 100 million won. It would be marked as talent management expenses. Jinwoo was completely stunned. But there was one strict condition. He had to keep everything secret. This favor was only for their side. Jinwoo quickly promised to stay quiet. After that, Yu-jia politely left. Jinwoo watched her walk away. He could feel Park Chang-seok's support clearly. That made him even more determined. He had to pull an EX rank soon. Then the endless grinding started again. Day faded away before he noticed. Ramba was already worn out. But Jinwoo refused to stop. He said they would continue until success. The tearing sound drove Ramba crazy. Jinwoo was not backing down anymore. Still, the results stayed miserable. He pulled a white serpent. Then he got a giant stag beetle. After that came another horned larva. Even then, he kept going out of spite. He begged for the last EX ranks to appear. Then he tore open another scroll. A golden storm burst from the paper. It felt just like Ramba's summoning. Jinwoo knew this pull was different. Then the result finally appeared. A low-grade scroll gave him an EX rank. He had pulled the Dragon Mage. Jinwoo and Ramba screamed in joy. But Jinwoo did not stop there. He called it a hot streak. So he ripped open another scroll, and the luck struck again. Another EX rank appeared immediately. This time, it was the training instructor. Even Ramba could not believe it. At last, the endless grind was over. Jinwoo broke down in tears. Then the two summons finally appeared before him. He had pulled them both. The new summon looked around in confusion. It was Hungyo, the training instructor. He was weak in direct combat. That was why nobody valued him. But his real worth was somewhere else. Hongyo was obsessed with training. He pushed summons far past their limits. His basic skills looked ordinary at first. But once he unlocked the instructor skill, his true power, he could awaken other summons, hidden abilities. He could also speed up their growth. Jinwoo instantly saw his real value. This skill could make his whole team stronger. Then Hongyo noticed Jinwoo and froze. He called him God Jinwoo. Jinwoo greeted him like an old coach. Hongyo dropped to one knee at once. He said it was a miracle. He thought being placed in isolation, he will never see Jinwoo again. Jinwoo smiled at their loyalty. Ramba and Hongyo were still the same. Then another figure stepped forward. It was Pakryong, the dragon mage. She finally spoke for the first time. She asked if he was really God Jinwoo. Jinwoo was shocked to hear her voice. Pakryong is a D-rank mage summon. At first, she looked like a failed mage. But an ancient dragon slept inside her heart. That made her a terrifying fire damage dealer. Her dragon wave sent blazing flames forward. She also had a broken skill, predation. Boss kills made that fire grow forever. Pakryong could not fully awaken without Hongyo. Jinwoo is the one player that can use her properly. Pakryong beamed when she saw Jinwoo again. She said she missed him very much. Jinwoo smiled and said he missed her too. Then he quickly warned them to be careful. "Call me Jinwoo, not God Jinwoo." Hongyo accepted that order at once. After that, they all went home together. Jinwoo dropped into bed from pure exhaustion. While he slept, the summons quietly reunited. Ramba and Hongyo greeted each other again. Hongyo said titles did not matter to him. Only one thing mattered now. They were still far too weak. If they wanted to help Jinwoo, they needed training. So even while Jinwoo slept, Hongyo began immediately, and Pakryong became his first target. Hongyo told Pakryong to feel her mana first. He promised to unlock predation after her awakening. Then he turned to Ramba. Ramba needed strength training to raise her swing speed. She panicked because she was only a fairy. Hongyo asked if she wanted to help their liege. Then he gave her a frying pan. Her first goal was 5,000 swings. Ramba begged Jinwoo to save her. But Jinwoo slept through the whole thing. Later, bad news arrived at the office. They could not release more low-rank summon scrolls. The order had come from the director. They also demanded a report on every scroll used. Yujiya realized examiner Hisu had made his move. Hisu kept shutting down all their ideas. Yujiya had the explanation papers ready. But without new scrolls, they had nothing for Jinwoo. It was almost time to deliver his summon scrolls. Then Jinwoo suddenly sent a message. He no longer needed low-rank summon scroll support. He had already gotten what he wanted. That changed everything at once. Now he needs to settle things with Lim Hisu. Later, Jinwoo arrived at Gwanaksan Mountain. It was near Seonbawi Station in Gwacheonsi. He confirmed this was a regular dungeon. The system said BOS had 4 dungeon types. Daily dungeons gave materials based on the day. The Tower of Trials tested players to their limits. Its rewards were huge, but so was the death rate. The Chaos Dragon was a raid dungeon. It had to be challenged with a party. Everything besides those 3 was a regular dungeon. That was the dungeon Jinwoo chose today. In BOS, regular dungeons were called stage dungeons. But in reality, they appeared at random. Party play was possible in these dungeons. But Jinwoo don't need to have a party right now. He walked straight toward the gate alone. He knew he had to move fast. If too much time passed, a dungeon break would happen. Then monsters would start pouring outside. At the entrance, a guard stopped him. The guard asked to check his license. Jinwoo handed it over without a word. His license was quickly verified. The guard told him to be careful. Then Jinwoo stepped into the gate. Blue lightning flashed around him. The scenery changed in an instant. A violent battle scene opened before him. Armed warriors were already fighting monsters. Jinwoo immediately understood the dungeon type. This was a subjugation dungeon. War no longer felt like a game. Standing there, Jinwoo felt its weight. He steadied his breathing. Then, he forced himself to focus. Just do what he always did. Blue light burst around him. Get ready, guys. Jinwoo summoned Ramba, Hungyo, and Pokryong. Then he called the Golden Fairy and Minikong. Ramba, buff Hungyo with attack speed. Pokryong, support from the rear. Minikong, go for the orc boss. The enemy pattern was simple. Kill the giant orc in the back. Then the battle would end. Minikong charged in at once, but the giant orc struck him down. Still, Jinwoo's summons kept moving. With Ramba's buff, Hungyo tore through the field. Jinwoo could see it clearly. Hungyo was far stronger than the early game instructor. Jinwoo relaxed a little. This fight looked easier than expected. The Golden Fairy spread healing light. The soldiers stared in shock. These allies were incredibly strong. Hope finally reached the wall. One soldier whispered, "Are we going to live?" Ramba kept darting around the battlefield. She even started fooling around. Jinwoo shouted for her to stop. Then an orc hurled an axe upward. Hungyo cut it down immediately. Pokryong gritted her teeth and raised her staff. Then she released the spell. A dragon of fire roared across the battlefield. The flames swallowed the orcs in one sweep. The orc boss looked over at the blast. Hungyo did not waste that moment. He dashed forward and cut the boss down. The giant body crashed hard to the ground. Then the dungeon was cleared. The fairy jumped and cheered. Pokryong, his dragon mage, reached level 5. Her intelligence increased too. Hungyo also reached level 5. His critical hit rate increased too. Then a reward window appeared. Jinwoo received one mid-grade summoning scroll. It was a jackpot. That scroll alone was worth 500,000 won. He had earned it in only 2 minutes. Jinwoo needed the next dungeon immediately. He could level his summons and earn money. Infinite grinding could turn his life around. Back at the office, Park Chang-seok let out a long sigh. Yujia asked how he made that bet. He still felt it was unfair. After all, that bastard started it. His mind went back to that meeting. The director tried to calm the room down. But Lim Hee-soo stayed smug. He said he only gave some advice. He claimed the budget was being wasted. Then he mocked Park Chang-seok. He said they could not raise proper talent. Park Chang-seok's face twisted with anger. Lim Hee-soo kept pressing harder. He said none of the Park Chang-seok's recruits made it. Not once had they reached the national team. Then he mocked the Tuesday dungeon record too. He acted like it meant nothing. Park Chang-seok wanted to snap back. But he could not deny the truth. The rankers Lim Hee-soo trained made it every year. The man was arrogant, but skilled. Still, Park Chang-seok refused to endure it anymore. So he made a bold challenge. "What if my recruit makes the national team?" Lim Hee-soo only laughed. "Then how about a bet?" Lim Hee-soo raised the stakes at once. The national team only had 10 spots, so they would compare whose recruit ranked higher. Park Chang-seok accepted without backing down. The loser would praise the other in public. Then he would resign. If either side broke the contract, the penalty would be 1 billion won. Even the others begged them to stop. Back in the present, his aide was stunned. She asked if he really risked everything for Jinwoo alone. She admitted Jinwoo was impressive, but he was still just a gamer. Compared to the registered rankers, he was still lacking. Park Chang-seok understood that. But he still trusted Baek Jin-woo. With proper support, he believed Jin-woo would show something huge. His aide still looked unsure. Then someone burst into the office. A staffer rushed in with urgent news. He had checked the player, who kept soloing D-rank dungeons. And that player was Baek Jin-woo. The room froze for a moment. A player registered for only 1 month was clearing D-rank dungeons in under 5 minutes. Park Chang-seok could barely hold it in. He told her he had been right. To him, Baek Jin-woo was the best. His aide could only stare in disbelief. And Park Chang-seok felt even more certain that trusting Jin-woo was the right move. Park Chang-seok clenched his fist in excitement. Everything was going just as he expected. His confidence only grew stronger. He believed his eye for talent was flawless. And in his mind, Jin-woo proved it.